Each orgasm floods the brain with prolactin. This is the hormone of completion. Tells your body, hey, the mission is over, the war is won, so you lose any lust for further combat. The universe marks you weaker, not because it hates pleasure, but because it despises waste. You think you're just satisfying an urge, itching a scratch. In truth, you're sacrificing your strength. There's a reason why the French refer to orgasm as the little death. It is a breaking of your frame, your resolve, and death of your masculinity. And a lot of this is referenced from The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. There is a chapter concerning this theory of orgasm habituating a man if he indulges in it too frequently. He describes it like this: when a man has no control over his ejaculation, he cannot meet his woman sexually or emotionally. She knows she can deplete him, weaken him, empty him of life force. I kind of liken it to the game of chicken. I don't know if you ever played that at school, but whoever flinches loses first. But in this case, whoever finishes loses first. Data goes on to say this: when a man ejaculates easily, he creates an ongoing distrust in his woman. At a subtle level, she feels she cannot fully trust him. She and the world can deplete him and depolarize him completely. It's quite a lot to unpack there. Data makes this really interesting comparison to a man's frame in the bedroom being parallel to his frame in the world. I would go further and say that this comparison works in reverse, and you can draw enormous, incredible value from imbuing this reasoning into your psychology and subsequently your behavior. So, this is what you need know. How you conduct yourself when you're courting a woman is the same way you will conduct yourself in the bedroom. And she, on a subtle, intuitive level, knows this to be true. If your temperament appears overeager, frantic to meet up, drop all your business, fitness, and spiritual commitments for the prospect of setting up one measly date, this is the behavior of a two-pump chump. She feels the stink of your desperation and lack of stamina. You came early before you even got to the bedroom. That's the premature ejaculation, or certainly the marketing of one. Conversely, be more structured, be rigid, be hard, and demonstrate your rigidity and hardness over time. Show her your ability to keep control, frame, and polarity with consistency, and for additional points, with congruence across multiple different settings. This means that your hardness and rigidity as a man does not depend on any environmental context. You are just as hard at a coffee shop as you are at a bar, as you are at a sporting match, as you are at a family event. Look, I know there's some comedic levity in my word choice here, which I hope you are enjoying, but do be aware I'm not selecting the words to be crass, but rather to be more clinically accurate. Being hard is the epitome of the masculine, soft, the antithesis, and the feminine. The masculine cannot penetrate the soft feminine without rigidity, precisely the same way you cannot penetrate her in coitus. Which brings a flashback of me being 21 in university, bringing a girl back home to my dorm room after a night of lavish degeneracy in the form of several whiskeys and Coca-Cola. We're ready to get down to business, but I was limper than a dying man's handshake. I got the dreaded whiskey dick, and it's one of the most emasculating things that can happen to a man. Even attributing the experience of a soft penis as emasculating strengthens the notion of this polarity idea that we're playing with. It's unbecoming of the masculine to be soft in its completeness. Therefore, by definition, it cannot be considered masculine. Needless to say, I never saw that girl again. Maybe this particular story doesn't serve the point that I'm making here, but you understand the frustration of a woman who, they might feel that when a man who markets himself as masculine mentally and emotionally, she gets excited, she gets aroused, and the natural expectation for the physical component to be reflected in the bedroom, but when that performance never materializes, it's false marketing. It's a lie. It's like the girl who's been texting you, dirty texting you, telling you all the nasty things she's gonna do. Then when it gets to it, she starfishes you. She's a pillow princess, and your sexual experience becomes dangerously close to necrophilia. In biology, energy is currency. You can spend it on creation or on self indulgence. When you climax, dopamine it crashes, testosterone drops, you lose your aggression, drive, and confidence. The very chemicals that make you magnetic, that give you that polarizing feel. I mean, even consider, I know it's crass, the nature of the physiological sensation itself. An orgasm is a loss of inhibition. It is a relinquishing of control that imparts great ecstasy on us. There is great pleasure with the prospect of relinquishing control, but chaos, loss of control is inherently feminine. Loss of muscle control, spasming, reflexive, sounds of joy, nervous system inhibition, hormonal collapse. If you indulge in this too frequently and too intensely, the roles reverse. She holds the relationship frame, and a woman who knows she can control you with sex will never respect you. There is little that can be considered virtuous about a man who constantly chases a state of chaos. Even consider your polarity post coitus. You are fatigued, you are agreeable, you are docile, easily dominated, conquered, even. You think strength is built in the gym, but the real training is invisible. It's your ability to say no when your lower self begs for release, for that spasm, for chaos, for femininity. That's where power is born, between that kind of that spark of desire and the act of restraint. I mean, many men think they lose energy when they train too hard, but the truth is they lose it when they release without reason, without rationality. And that's the key, by the way. Have reason, have rationality. There is a belief that release should only come with the intention of making life, which sounds extreme, but soon after it seems obvious. This is its primary purpose, after all. But what do you think? Too extreme? Is there a happy medium between the balancing respect of, sexual energy and modern pleasure? I think there is room for marrying that kind of modern man and spiritual man in some kind of medium. But I don't know. Are these theories? Are these facts? You can tell me. Speak soon.